Yo, what's up, peeps, man? It's your boy King. NBA 2K21 for the PS5, man. So this is kind of I wanted to showcase a move that I did with Curry to kind of highlight the changes that were made in the next generation version of this game. But I also wanted to test out 4K video recording with this PlayStation. I found that very interesting. I can I can record in 4K and then upload it straight to YouTube from the game. That'll be the content that I'll be uploading like in between my higher production quality videos. Now this Curry step back, right? So I hit him with a through the legs cross. He stays with it, right? So I hit him with the step back and he just gets completely lost, man. That wasn't encouraging. That wasn't encouraging unless I missed something from NBA 2K21 because like I said, I didn't get NBA 2K21. So let me know down in the comment section if you can break ankles with step backs like this in NBA 2K21 on the current gen, man. But I mean, I was so open. I ended up pump faking. I didn't know I was gonna create this much space. But while I'm here, man, let me go ahead and give you some impressions on how I feel about this game. It built from the ground up. So built from the ground up is not what this game is, but it is drastically improved in almost every category, right? So when we talk about foot planting, momentum, when we talk about CPU's offense, when we talk about things like responsiveness, suction animations, AI cheating and stuff like that, all that stuff is just cleaned up dramatically, man. It's just cleaned up dramatically. The AI is it's not out here. It's doing some things behind the background as it always will, in the background as it always will, because the CPU will never be able to keep up with a human. Period. Like I can exploit this game with the pick and roll if I want to, but the thing is that Czar knows that, and that's coming down with a patch because it's out of whack right now to the point to where a patch is coming to fix that. And I was aware of this when Czar did a live stream maybe like a few weeks ago, telling us that in patch 2 the pick and roll defense will be cleaned up on, but that's really the only thing. The AI is not out here cheating. They're challenging you in realistic ways, and I like that. It feels a hell of a lot better than it did on the current generation version. It's like you're not getting since you're not constantly getting sucked into animation, you're not getting sucked into screens. Guys aren't sliding into position all over the place, and you're not getting herked and jerked around. It just feels like they're creating a much more organic challenge to you. Now, I'm sure something that I don't know is going behind the screens that kind of has it to the point to where it's like, okay, this, if I knew, I would be honestly called cheating. But as of right now, like the gameplay feels really smooth. It feels like it feels fair for the most part. And part of that probably has a reason. Now, I mentioned this in NBA Live and NBA Live 2018 and NBA Live 19, both of those games, as I mentioned it in, was those games had systems in place for their movement systems and their foot planting system that both parties had to abide by the rules within those systems. You know what I mean? One thing about NBA 2K is that was never the case until now. So now when you're doing your moves and when you're like you're trying to make plays on a guy, man, you're trying to beat a guy to the basket, you're trying to just create space. Keep in mind that the momentum system and the foot planting system in this game, it's been improved by quite a bit. There's still some sliding here and there, and you might get sucked into something every once in a while, but it's toned down so much that you honestly barely notice it. And that's why. And look, before I go further, my review of this game is coming. That's going to be a higher production video, and that's coming sometime in January or February. And the reason I said I'm waiting that long is because a lot of people don't have these systems. A lot of people are going to be waiting to get this system. So I want to drop it sometime in January when I've had ample time with it, because I want to make sure I'm not in the honeymoon stage. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure this is not just, oh, this is a new title and oh man, like I just praise the Lord and praise it to the highest power. I don't want to do that because I don't want to give a bad review doing something like that. So that's why I'm going to wait until it's not new anymore, and I'm going to give my detailed review on it. But those are my first impressions, are basically like this thing has improved like quite a bit from the current generation version. On now, as far as the graphics, like when you start looking at these games on video, right? So when you start looking at them on YouTube. YouTube compresses the hell out of the image quality or the video quality. When you try to look at these things side by side, people easily say like, "Oh, it's not that big of a jump," but and then in actuality, when you get the thing in your hands and you get to playing it on your 4K TVs or your 4K OLED QLEDs or whatever you got, if it's 4K, it's gonna look beautiful on this thing. And the reason is because there's two different things. There's graphical improvements and there's changes of art, the art direction, right? So the reason why NBA 2K14 and people remember that is such a big jump from the current generation at the time, which was the PS3 version of NBA 2K14, was because NBA 2K14 on the PS4 came with higher res textures and which is basically the technical ins and outs and nuances of just the game, like clarity. So that's what graphics is going to be: clarity, like higher resolution textures, better lighting and stuff like that. That's horsepower can push stuff like that. But when we talk about art direction, that's totally up to the devs of how they envision the game looking, you know. And NBA 2K14 had an entirely different art direction. You know what I mean? And that's why that game just came out the gate looking completely different. You know, you had body types, the basket looked different. Of course, like the courts and only thing that looked the same on players was the actual shoes. That was the only thing that looked. Those looked at pretty PS3 like and Xbox 360 like. But everything else was taken in an entirely different art direction. With this game is clean to a level to where it's almost, you almost wish that they did change the art direction with the body models and maybe the shoes and stuff like that, even though they already looked it fine on current gen. Maybe maybe the body types and maybe the legs need to be longer, just nuance and just nitpicky stuff like that. But since they didn't change the art style, it's easy to look at these games side by side and be like, oh, they look mostly the same. But if when you get this thing in your hand, you start playing it, you'll quickly see that this is just a much cleaner, it's just much cleaner graphically than what we ever could have dreamed of having on the PS4 version. And this is coming from someone who was playing the PS4 version on a PS4 Pro in 4K 60 frames per second. I was playing this on that, you know, and this looks better by a mile. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the detail on the players. Like, look, I mean, look at how lit the crowds are, man. Like, you look at above in the crowd stuff. The crowds were never this lit in current gen. Never this lit. And because of this court, you can't really tell because this is a mostly light court, but the lighting, like the reflections on the court, is much better. And it's not 2K14 level because NBA 2K14 level was unrealistic. That's not how light reflections work. That looked at more like a neon laser show on the court than anything. And it was actually one of my gripes with NBA 2K14 for the PS4 was the fact that the lighting was just a bit too much and over exaggerated in that game. But here it's perfect, and you know, it's put together very nicely. Now that's enough praise in the game. Like I said, we gonna get down to the nitty gritty in my review when I come with it in maybe a month or two. Like, well, it's not gonna get to 2 months. I'm probably gonna just drop that in January, like, or late December or January, right around the holiday time when guys are finna get ready to pick this up for Christmas and stuff like that. So because even people who got the PS4 pre-ordered and stuff, it could be for kids for Christmas. I don't know, but that's when I'm dropping my review because I feel like I'll have ample time with the game then. But anyway, man, I just want to chime in real quick, man. I just want to test out this little PS4. I'm still learning the ins and outs of the console itself. So anyway, man, peace out, man. It's me, boy King. Later.